Thanks for watching to the end. So what was that horrible grinding noise? Well, it wasn't the Bendix gear, as you might expect, but it wasn't too bad of a repair. Let me orientate you here. This is where the kicker lives, and you've seen me swing it out like this, and then kick it to start the motorcycle when I do it right. Now, before I get into the meat of her here, let me tell you who I bought the parts from. This is not a sponsored video. I don't do that, but this is a personal friend. A couple years ago, he bought a rusty GTO from me, and that's the money I used to buy this thing. So it's a small family-owned and operated business. If you need parts like this and something like this, I'll tell you it cost me under $100 shipped. Call Dwayne out at Outlaw Choppers. That's in Molino, Florida. His number is 850-587-2640, and here's his website, okay? Alright, let's zoom in here and I'll show you what exactly is going on here. Alright, so attached to that kicker pedal is this kicker gear here. And it lives just like that. And when you kick, it swings out like this. It engages. And then right as the motor is starting, it disengages. And then the spring on the outside, and you let go, goes all the way back real quick. On this side, the main shaft, which spins with the motor, there's a spring. We're going to leave that out for right now. There is a starter gear, and that's our problem. And then there is a keyed clutch gear. Now this is friction fit here, so I'm not going to be able to get it all the way on without torquing it down. But that spring pushes the starter gear up against the clutch gear, so it wants to spin with the motor. What that kicker gear is doing is it's got that little plate that pushes against the starter gear and against that spring tension to hold it away. Well, let's take that clutch gear away. There. That little plate right there pushes against the starter gear and keeps it from engaging and spinning with the motor. Now this is the problem here. The old one has a ton of weeble wobble in it. So what was happening is, even though the kicker gear was pushing up against it, this side of it was weeble wobbling, catching on that clutch gear, and over here was hammering on the kicker gear, damaging it. But it sure did sound like a bearing, didn't it? Now, to compare, the new starter gear slides on smooth, but does not have that weeble wobble. So the kicker gear is going to be able to hold it, and it's not going to make any contact with that clutch gear at all. Now, why did that happen? Let's see if I can zoom in here and refocus. Alright, so that gold colored part, that is a bushing, a bronze bushing, and it's soft compared to all the other metals in the bike. So over time, and you gotta remember this bike is like 40 years old, over time that bronze is going to wear down. So even though this new gear fits nice and tight against that main shaft and spins but doesn't want to weeble wobble, the old one is at the end of the lifetime and enough has worn away that it weeble wobbles.